Hi, this is the third part of a small series on making a walking character in a game. We are still only at the making of the sprites, so no coding yet. And the sprites, they are the images that make up the walking animation. So, in the first two episodes, I've shown two ways to make the images as seen from the side, a walk cycle seen from the side. In this episode, we will deal with making the sprites for a character walking up or down in the scene, that is, towards or away from the viewer. As in the two earlier episodes, I'm making a minimal walk cycle of only 6 frames. That, in my experience, is as low a number of frames that you can reasonably get away with. I will make the sprites for the character from episode 1, that is a draugr, a Viking type of dead coming back, similar to a zombie. This will make his walk cycle a little bit different from what would be a normal walk cycle, in that the character holds its arms stretched out in front of it instead of swinging by the sides of the character. In a more normal walk cycle, the arms moves the same way as the legs, except that the left arm follows the right leg and vice versa. First, I will make a sketch. I will be using Fire Alpaca to draw my images. I will start with the upper body and the head. At first I will only do half of the walk cycle, which is the same as I did with the side view walk cycle in episode 1. Within these 3 frames we will have one image with both feet on the ground. In this image the head will be a little lower than in the other 2 images. So I make 2 copies of the first image and move the first one down a little bit. I don't measure anything, I just eyeball it. I then draw the right leg, right from my view, starting with the first frame and with the foot closest to the viewer. And then I will add legs for the next 2 frames. For all 3 frames the foot is touching the ground. The trick here is to give the impression of the leg being at different positions, at different distances from the viewer. One part in this is an understanding of using foreshortening. Next step is to add the other leg. I do that on a separate layer for each frame. I also make a folder for each frame. Besides helping to keep things organized, it makes it possible to run the frames as an animation in Fire Alpaca. I do the second leg in a different color for the sketch. That will help me keep track of when the legs cross over each other in a frame. Having the legs on different layers at this stage also makes it possible to make adjustments for one leg without having to mess with the other leg. For this leg, the second leg, it will be furthest away from the viewer at the first frame, and for the next 2 frames it will move forward and the foot will be in the air. In the first frame the foot will be on the ground. In the second frame the foot will be behind the other leg, and in the third frame the foot will be in front of the leg. When I am happy with the half walk cycle, I merge the 2 layers for each frame, duplicate each frame as a base for the second half of the walk cycle. Each of the images for the second half are flipped and the position is adjusted to match the first half. And right away I have a full walk cycle, except the character don't have any arms. I fix that with having the palms of the open hands facing the viewer. I just draw one hand and use copy-paste and reuse it for the other hand, and then the pair of hands I copy and paste them to the folder for each frame. I move the hands a little bit for each frame to get a bit of movement. I only have to draw the one hand. This gives me the full sketch for the frames. I then set down the opacity for the sketches and draw the line work on a different layer atop of the sketch layers. When I am done with the line work, I add colors on a layer below the line work. And that pretty much is it. If you are going to do more walking characters, you can save some time by having a walk sketch or a couple of walk sketches that you use and reuse when you make a different character, or you can use earlier sprite as sketches or guides. Making this walk cycle took about 1 hour in real time. Now, this was the character walking towards us. I will now do the character walking the other way. I will use the character walking towards us as the guide or the sketch. This will work since the silhouette line will be the same walking forward or walking away. So I just turn down the opacity for the forward spirit line artwork and draw the away walking sprite on a layer on top of that layer in the same Fire Alpaca file. Then I just add a layer for color for the going away sprites. Having the groundwork already done, that cuts down the time needed to make the set of images to about half the time. So I spent about 30 minutes doing the going away sprites. One thing to have in mind when we are talking about the going away sprites is that these images must be played in the opposite order to the sprites going towards us. And this is necessary to have the walk cycle run in the correct order. If we don't switch the order of the frames, the character will look like it is walking backwards. Well, that will be all for this time. In the next episode I will make standing frames, and I think I will also set up the images as sprites. In a later episode we will make the character actually walk inside a game. Until next time, bye, and I hope to see you again.